So at this point, we've made a modification to our feature module. I'm going to jump back to the browser where we have the Review Overrides tab open, and we can see our changes here. Now, if we wanted to see our exact changes, we just found out that we can get a sense of what our changes are through this page, but not know exactly what they are. We'll need to use version control and use the diff command. So what we'll do first is add our feature as is to our Git repository that we've been working on all through this series. And then what we're going to do is re-export our feature module, overriding all the files that are currently in our feature module, and then we'll do a diff to see what the changes are. So again, this original version here is what's in code, and this new version here is what's in the database. So when we add our code to our Git repository, we're going to get the original version. So I'm going to jump back to the command line. We haven't been there in a little while. I'm going to go ahead and clear the back scroll. Let's go ahead and do a git status to see what's changed in our directory. So we have a couple of changes. We've added our contrib directory, which includes our features and diff module. And then we have our feature module that's inside of our features directory inside of our sites all modules folder. So what we need to do is go ahead and add these and then commit them. And let's go ahead and do it straight on the develop branch. Now, if you were doing this in the real world and had team members, you may want to create a feature or topic branch for this, but we're just going to keep it simple here. Let's go ahead and make sure we're on the develop branch. So I'm going to do git checkout develop. We're already on develop. Okay. Let's go ahead and do a git add, and then let's copy this folder here, sites all modules contrib. We're just going to add both the diff and the features module. And then let's do this again for the sites all module features folder. Okay, now if we do git status, we see a ton of new files added to the staging area. Now let's go ahead and commit this. And my command is git commit, and the message is added features and diff modules as well as articles feature. And I'm going to hit enter. So now we have our feature module in version control. I'm going to jump back to the browser, and I'm going to jump back to the features section. And now whenever we make a modification to a feature, and we want to capture that in code, we'll need to recreate the feature module. And we can do this simply by clicking on the recreate link next to the feature we want to recreate. And what this will do is allow us to go through the process of adding new components to our feature and exporting any updates to components that have been already added. So I'm going to click on recreate. We have our name, machine readable name, and description all pre-filled. I'm going to scroll down. And on the right-hand side here, you see a list of the components that belong to our feature right now. And if we check out any of these component groups here, we'll see the ones that we've selected already checked. So we have our fields, etc. So here, we can deselect any of these items. We can select any new ones. And if there have been any changes to ones that have already been selected, then those changes will be exported just like this was a fresh feature module. Of course, for us, because we're on version control, this would constitute a new version of our feature. Without version control, this would be more like a module update. So I'm going to go ahead and download the feature. My download will also extract the tar, and it extracts as a module just like we had before. I'm going to go ahead and copy this, and I'm going to paste it over our current articles module. Now I'm going to go back to the command line, and I'm going to do a git diff. And it will show us a difference between our latest commit and our current code. So here we have a whole lot more information than we did using the diff module in the Drupal interface. So first of all, we can see that this first hunk of changes is in the articles.featureinc file. Now again, this is where our hook node info function is, and you see that the name has been changed from article to post here. Our next change here is in the articles.feature.menulinks.inc file. Now in the diff module, we couldn't tell what file these changes were in, so this is nice, seeing where the exact change was. And here the link title has been changed from article to post. I'm going to go ahead and keep scrolling down. And we actually have another change here that didn't show up in diff, which was under this translatables section inside of the same file here. And I'm going to keep scrolling down. And there's also a line added here inside of our .info file that specifies the PHP version. So chances are what happened here is that we're dealing with a difference in the original export script for the features module and the update script. In this case, it looks like when the feature gets updated, it goes ahead and adds as PHP. And that's probably just a code quirk. Okay, I'm going to exit out of this by pressing Q. Now, if we go back to the browser and we take a look at our feature again, I'm going to go ahead and go to the features listing page. We see that under articles, our state is now in default instead of overridden. So this change to the article content type name from article to post is now captured in code. It hasn't yet been captured in our version control system. All of the changes are currently unstaged in our repository, but we do have a code backup that we can roll back to if we make changes now inside of the database.